A message for my people.
Nick Dad, baby. We the new label.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, son.
Now this the black sheep sticking its home. I need a crib like I'm Gatsby.
I need it.
In hand, just understand my
Pockets that deep.
with nothing to prove. I ain't got nothing to do. When they can't compete and I got nothing to lose. You see, they told me I'm the one that's gonna benefit. Never been
Once again, Veterans Minimum, the #1 sports betting vibe on the internet. I'm your host, Nick Dais, at Nick Dais 10 as you can find me. All things Veterans Minimum are at Veterans Minimum. The time we're recording, we got the Knicks game on over here. You know, we took,
intense, dude.
We took a money line at halftime, a little plus 190. Brunson came out.
This is a big final 3 minutes that we're about to experience here because I know we'll get into it, but like the Knicks, like right around this point in time in the game, especially in that 76er series.
Collapse.
Yeah.
Hey, collapse.
Couple of games.
Yeah.
A couple of games. that happened.
Being down by 6 is crazy.
Yeah.
Look at my man though.
Oh yeah, man. He's Jalen
Look at
Brunson.
this. Yo, put the camera
play.
outside.
Put the
real quick.
camera outside, yo.
What the fuck?
got-
is
Look
happening?
at this.
What?
That is crazy.
Put 16. There we go.
God bless. Yes,
Legend.
It's funny.
There we go.
man.
Nice.
What a
By the
show.
way, George Carmona to my left. Our guy Wayne is back in the building. The creator.
What's popping?
We are here. We got a bunch of questions from you guys. At the time that you're listening to this, I'm back in New York, styling and profiling, living the dream.
Yeah.
No more eggs though.
No.
Not doing the egg stuff.
You gotta make one sandwich. Come on now.
Oh, I'm gonna go, but I'm saying like I'll go and do my usual thing, but I ain't. That's about it. I'm only making the egg sandwich for me too. So rule, bro. I told my pops, I was like, yo, when I leave this coffee truck, I ain't coming back
Why?
because I don't want to go back. This is what I do now, bro.
No, I'm saying you were saying something about eggs. What happened with the eggs?
Nah, so like my background, my dad got a coffee truck in New York City.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
So whenever I do go back home, I go to see the customers because a lot of my customers are like, bro, they know me since I was like 7.
Right.
I'm 33 now.
Right.
So they know me about fucking 3 decades.
Right.
So I go back and I show love, and some of them I still talk to, and they support all the content and whatnot. But I told my pops when I do go back, I'm not going back and working no more. Like I sold my last coffee. Like I ain't doing that shit just
Right.
because I also wrote a letter to my mom's when I first moved out the house.
Jody,
I
you
was
want
like,
to come
yo,
back?
I ain't coming back.
I ain't mad at that.
Gotta set the standard,
Yeah, but like people think about the customers that were maybe lost. And I mean, once Nick stopped making the sandwiches.
Oh,
You know
dude.
what I mean, like that's
Nick made the best sandwiches.
Yo,
It's-
bro.
it's
Egg
possible.
sandwich will slap your panties off, bro.
I mean, we're talking 2-3x profits on the breakfast sandwiches in the morning. The technique that he had. It's rumors at this point.
okay.
Yeah.
I would have to check him out.
Yeah, you got to go. If you're ever in New York City, man, 49th and Park Avenue, as we got the tattoo here, homage to the coffee truck. All right. So, got a lot of questions from you guys. We're going to answer them. A lot of sports stuff, a lot of betting stuff, and kind of some life stuff, which was pretty cool. And I know you be getting deep on your show and some of your tweets, and not tweets, your Instagram posts, which I told you a while back. Fucking wild boy.
Always.
Some of the things you be writing and commenting on and reposting is hysterical. So we'll get into that too. But I want to start by saying this one came from Colby on Instagram.
Shouts out to Kobe.
Shouts to him. The Tom Brady roast just happened. He's not asking about the roast. He wants to know, what would it take for you to be the main talking point of a roast? Would you want it to happen to you, Wayne? Would you want to participate in one? Do you feel like your ego and your pride could take that?
Now, okay, so with the roast, are you not saying nothing back? Are you just kind of letting everybody fire on you?
So you're familiar with like those roasts, right?
Yeah, I'm familiar. I just never set up and watched one.
Right.
It seemed like all their jokes would be corny, but I mean, he's basically sitting there and the whole room is firing at him.
The
right?
whole room is firing at him. And then at the end, you usually go on and you get to retaliate.
Oh, okay. Well, my skin is thick enough to take whatever I'm gonna get, so I think I would be able to do it. But they got to take whatever I'm a dish. That's the thing. But I think I would be able to do it, so I would be down to do a roast. Why not? Fuck it.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm funny enough to like clown you better than you're gonna clown me,
and I might laugh at other people's jokes too. Like,
yeah,
it might be funny.
Yeah, you have to like roll with the punches. That's the roast equivalent. It's like the sip the
awkward
water.
sip whenever
Yeah. I mean, as long as we can have some drinks or I don't know, some shrooms or something to get it going.
Yeah. Oh, shrooms would be nuts.
Dude, I
know
feel
the truth.
So like I always tell people, man, I think because growing up and even to this day, and I'm sure you have it, like your close group of friends, and we say outrageous shit.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. It don't bother me.
And I'm so grateful that I grew up that way, bro, because then everything else I hear, and especially being a digital content creator and being in the public eye, no matter what the scale is, right? Like, especially when you're first starting out, you're gonna get, if you get 3-4 tweets, they're noticeable when you're not getting a shitload of recognition. So those things, the thick skin that I developed through my friends, bro, and even my parents, and to this day, I'll get fried, like bad, and I fuck with it. And the people that do fry me, to me, I don't get offended by it. I raise you to a higher standard. I'm like, all right, bro, you're keeping me in check. You're keeping me humbled. You're telling me don't fucking wear that shit again. You look awful. Like, get rid of them sneakers, whatever it might be.
Right.
Those are the kind of people that I want to keep around. So for me with the roast, and to your point, like, I'm gonna light you up too.
Yeah.
So just as long as you know we're on the same page,
just as long
just
as you
know
can,
that I got some bars coming your way also.
I definitely shoot back. You're not about to just light me up. I'm gonna shoot, and I'll call your jokes corny. Like, oh man, I was corny next. Like, what we doing? You know?
And also like, yo,
I want to laugh. Like, I want to laugh. So I wouldn't mind doing. I like laughing, so I wouldn't mind getting roasted.
And yo, even if it's at your own expense, bro, I feel like people take themselves too seriously. And sometimes it's cool to just.
I think it was cool for Tom Brady to do it because he's more of a guy that we really don't know him. Yeah, we don't. He's more serious, and you just think he's all like straight face game time. And to see him go up there and get roasted and laugh and make his own jokes, I think that it makes him human. It makes him more relatable. It builds his brand up. So I think that's important.
Nah, hell yeah, man, and. From like a business standpoint, Netflix, that's the first ever live thing they ever did.
Oh, it was on Netflix?
Yeah, it was on Netflix. It was live. And I watched it after the fact. I just finished it now. Bro, it's like 3 hours. But it's good, though. Throughout the whole 3 hours, it's captivating because the jokes are coming in and new people. Like, you got to see Bill Belichick kind of light some people up, too. And you're like, holy shit. And he was throwing some back. Because he got all like eased up, you get the beer muscles and you're a little bit more playful. That's the most smiling I've ever seen him do.
Right.
And then you had a bunch of other people. You had comedians, you had former Patriot players too. He was getting cooked for the jiu-jitsu coach. Kim Kardashian was in the crowd. She was getting fried. But I thought she handled herself well when she went up there too, especially when you're like not a comedian. Like the comedians, you expect them to deliver roast, but like Edelman did pretty well. I was fascinated by Drew Bledsoe because like I just find him, to your point, like you don't know much about him, right?
Don't.
So for them to, I guess when the bar is set so low and they deliver just a little bit more, you're like, all right, bro. To me, like I feel like he had one of the better moments.
Yeah, it's all about timing, staying in the pocket, all this shit that I've heard comedians say on Joe Rogan. You can tell the ones that like are just joke for joke for joke, and. Yeah, the good lower name people were definitely given jokes. Like I don't think there was too many of them that were writing their own. But hey, like maybe they were.
Yeah, but even if someone gives you jokes, you still gotta have good timing. You gotta deliver it. You gotta read the room also.
Yeah.
And I'm always fascinated.
It has to be fluid too. The joke has to be fluid in the sense to where it sounds like it's your joke.
Yeah.
It can't sound so rehearsed and corny to where it's like, yo, you don't even joke. Like, so
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think that the room has to be a certain type of people in there for it to make sense. But I think it's cool.
Yeah, I fuck with it, man. We need more roasts for sure. By the way, I don't have my laptop with me today. That's why I'm on the phone here reading these questions. I always have a pet peeve. I was telling you guys before we started recording, when people do podcasts and they don't have a laptop, but they look at their phone, I always feel like mentally when I'm consuming the content that they're not paying attention. So I wanted to definitely preface that for when people are looking at me right now. George could vouch. I'm on notes.
Yeah, you're on notes, but can I give you like a little defense here, dude?
Yeah,
sometimes we can be typing out our notes here. You got to make a bet. You know what I mean? We're watching the game in real time right now. You're making a bet. Best sports betting vibe on the internet.
Right.
It's not a bad thing.
Right.
I got your back. I mean,
you swung me.
True.
Yeah.
Swung
but
me
for real
on
though,
that.
if you start texting during the podcast, I'm throwing your phone through the fucking window.
That would be something. Odell Beckham Jr. signs with the Miami Dolphins. George, what do you think about this? This question comes from John on Twitter.
I mean, this is like a typical OBJ move at this point. He's going to go down in history as being a journeyman that got all his opportunities based off his best 2 years. Congratulations for that. I do think he is an asset. I just know that there's so many other weapons on that team that he's going to, I mean, if we really analyze it, you got Tyreek Hill, you got Jalen Waddle, you got Raheem Mostert, and then I would even say Devon A-Chain comes before him. So you're sitting like fifth now. At least when he was with the Ravens, he was feeling like, oh, I'm like maybe the second, third best option, especially after Mark Andrews got hurt. So it's going to be fun for him. Miami's a wild place.
Yeah, I think he's having fun. I think he's at the tail end of his career, and I think he's just picking up bags where in places that he may live in. So I think he's, getting paid to play, literally play at this point. I feel like it is a good move because Miami is one of those teams that's building momentum. It's taking a while, but they're building momentum. They usually play together. Everyone over there is pretty much happy, and I think it's a good environment for him if he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
If he can stay healthy, he'll be an asset. But if not, he'll be the broken glass, the pretty broken, like the broken Mercedes-Benz in a garage. He's there, but you got to get him fixed. But I like, Odell's one of my guys, so I think it's always a good fit because he does come to play.
For sure.
Yeah, he just has to stay healthy.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Nah, for sure, man. And I've always defended him, dude. Like when he went to the Rams and they went on that run in the playoffs, I feel and I still do to this day, like they don't win the Super Bowl without him. And I know he got hurt in the Super Bowl, but they don't get to the Super Bowl without him because when he first got there, and it kind of ties into what you were just saying about
but he played without an ACL the whole season.
Yeah.
He played without it.
Yeah, and then he tore it twice and in the Super Bowl, right? In the first half, he scored the first touchdown and then he was on pace to have a really good game through the first quarter. But with Odell, man, the thing that was really interesting is when he first got to the Rams, to your point, how now he's the fifth option with the Dolphins. Well, when he went to the Rams, at first it was a luxury to have him because they had Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp was going crazy, Higbee was a big part of their team, Van Jefferson was catching a 40-yard pass every game.
Yep.
And then what happens the same week he signs there? Robert Woods goes down with an ACL. So now you're not a luxury, you're a necessity. Like you gotta
play. Yeah.
And he played really well, man. Like he was having 100-yard games in the playoffs, and that Cooper Kupp was going crazy. That's one of the best receiver years anyone's ever had. But Odell opened up a lot of shit for him. And look, man, he's been a very polarizing player. Like he's very animated. I fuck with it. I always felt like, to me, that shows me that you care, right? Like at least in my opinion, when you're like that, that shows me that you care about your team, you care about winning. He's gonna be 32 years old. In the middle, during the season, he turns 32. Last year, he's coming off 565 receiving yards on 35 catches. Look, man, I think the biggest concern, if you're an Odell fan or if you're the Miami Dolphins, is the temptations of South Beach.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
No.
I think he's at the age now where he's almost like the vet, and
he's been getting chicks
been
a
there.
long time, bro. Odell gets them. I don't think the temptation of South Beach is not Antonio.
But I'm not even
Brown.
saying the woman aspect. I'm saying just like
Everything.
the
right?
nightlife,
Well, he stayed in L.A.
the partying. Yeah, that's
He
true.
stayed in L.A. L.A. is, it's L.A., Vegas, Miami.
Yeah.
So if he can sustain in L.A., he didn't get into no trouble. I think he'll be fine in Miami. But again, I mean, he is like what, 5th, 6th receiver. He's not going to be playing a lot of time. Low management there. No, he's very injury prone. He is a threat. You know, they can spread the field more. You don't have 3 or even 4 good corners on no team. So you're going to have a lot of openings just having him there as a decoy or anything like that. So I even think with the temptation, if he does choose to go out, but he's been in the league a while, so he's experienced already. It's not nothing new. I think he'll be fine. I believe he's going to be fine. He's not even that kind of dude. I mean, I think he's been in the league this long, no trouble, no nothing. Just had his first kid.
Yeah.
So,
to your point too, man. I feel like the expectations are so low now too.
Very low of him.
So him, we don't need you to go out there and get 1,500 yards.
We just need you to
get us 700. You're our 4th option, sometimes 5th. To George's point,
and Tyreek Hill is a threat. So having your best corner on him, who do you put on Odell? And now
you also got Waddle.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
Yeah,
like they're stacked.
Right. And then the quarterback has options. It's that team they're getting there, and I don't know if they will ever get there because you got Mahomes in the league and they just loaded the gun again, but they're great contenders. I don't know if they'll ever be there though.
Well, the thing with Miami, it's very similar to how I feel about Dallas. I think Tua and Dak Prescott are the same exact guy.
Damn.
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah, I think both of them are amazing September to about January 8th.
And then it's done.
And then after that, like for Miami, it needs to be perfect. It needs to be them being the 1 seed. Everything goes to Miami. Because I feel like, they went to what, minus 28 degrees? People were getting fucking frostbite, and people were having to go back to the hospital weeks later after that wild card game because it was minus 27. So for Miami, they're amazing if they got the 1 seed and everything goes through South Beach. You can play in 80-degree weather, you're chilling. But when they got to go on the road, that's what I'm worried about. And then with Dak, bro, I felt like he was the MVP last year. I thought Dak Prescott was the NFL MVP last year. He had a way better season than Lamar Jackson did. I think they finished 1 game behind them, record-wise. And, he had a career year. But the issue with Dak is the same issue with Tua. And the organizations run into some problems where, what do? You got to pay these guys $40 million, $50 million a year because then you end up with no quarterback. Yeah,
and then it's not like quarterbacks are being born or drafted every day. It's hit and miss. But I think it's time for Dallas to win a Super Bowl. I'm not a Dallas fan, but I think just for America's sake, it's time for them to win a Super Bowl so they can win one. It's like the Celtics. It's time for them to win too, but I think Dallas needs to win a Super Bowl.
You can do like the ultimate Odell move too. Get traded halfway through the season to the Cowboys. That's so Odell. And then he finishes with Jerry Jones, and he's like collected all the owners' Infinity Stones.
I think Dallas that's America's team supposedly, and I think it's time for them to win. I think whatever script they're writing up, it needs to have Dallas in it at some point.
I mean, bro, last year was the perfect year for them to do it.
Not with Taylor Swift at every Chiefs game.
But that didn't have. She didn't ruin them in the NFC games.
No, she didn't ruin them, but marketing dollars go is that's what she bringing.
But I'm saying like Dak can't even get that far.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I'm saying Dak and Tua, like bro, I'm a Giants fan, right? I'd take both of them on my team, but there's a ceiling. It's the same shit with Daniels. Honestly, bro, there's probably like 6 quarterbacks in the league that I think can win Super Bowls.
Who?
Off the top, I'd say obviously Mahomes. I think Burrow. I think Allen. Hurts has been there. I just chalk up last year to Philly losing both their coordinators. Got hurt towards the tail end of the year. They dropped like 5 of the last 6 games. I think Hurts is definitely one of those guys. I'm a Jordan Love stan. Like, I think he's amazing.
Wow, crazy.
Let's wait and see with CJ. I mean, but then you could say the same thing about CJ. Jordan Love.
I get you. Hold on. I feel like you're
who am I forgetting?
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah, Rodgers also. Too.
Aaron Rodgers been there though.
Yeah.
He got one.
Yeah. I mean, but you said Mahomes. It's just like there's only a certain amount of quarterbacks that can win it.
Right.
Jordan Love is a little nuts.
So maybe don't sleep on Trevor Lawrence now. He's just on the wrong team. He's on the wrong team, but Trevor Lawrence is still like that.
I agree with you, man.
He's still like that.
Yeah.
Bro. Don't sleep on Trevor Lawrence. He's just on the wrong team.
Yeah.
But if he goes to the Cowboys, it's over. Wow. If you get Trevor Lawrence on the Cowboys or Frisco or any other team that can do what they do on offense and defense, and he got the core around him, Trevor Lawrence is a huge, huge threat. The closest thing to Tom Brady that we have right now is Trevor Lawrence. Even if Trevor Lawrence goes to not the Patriots, because that's like a dying
team
organization. Yeah, but if he goes to the Rams, it's a problem. If
he does have an LA look.
If he goes 100%. To San Diego, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence is the closest thing to Tom Brady that we have. He's just on the wrong team right now. Do not sleep on him.
But yo, don't you feel like a lot
of
his
his numbers? They're there.
No, I'm woke.
He's just losing.
Yeah.
Don't you feel like there's a lot of guys though that are just on wrong teams?
No. There's some guys that need to stay where they're at. I don't like the way they did my man Fields. Put him on kickoff return. That's fuck. That's like
that's foul.
You're done.
Yeah,
that means like we don't have a place for you.
Well, the special teams coordinator got fired.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But he should. That's bro.
That's disrespectful.
You let that report get out there.
That's he needs another chance. He needs another chance on another team that appreciates him.
Yeah, I like.
And I
Fields
think he'll
too,
be
man.
fine. I don't think Fields is a bad quarterback. He is a quarterback, but right now I'm sure his mindset is just stay in the league.
Yeah,
just stay.
Sure.
Just stay here. Just be in the league, and it's sad that he has to be there already, but that's his mindset.
Holding a clipboard and making millions isn't that bad of a thing.
Yeah, but we haven't seen him as an NFL quarterback yet. We've seen him ridiculed. We've seen him on the Bears aren't going to be good even with the boy on there. They're not going to be good even with him, and he's going to give up on him. I tell you that right now.
Caleb,
he's going to be he's going to be the highest paid giver upper we've ever seen.
Giver upper.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, well,
I can already imagine.
I think they did a good job though this offseason with what they put around them. Way better than what they did with Fields. But I think, like, just to put a bow on this conversation, man, back to Tua and Dak. The reason why, remember when they played each other in the regular season, and I said it was the Spider-Man meme? They were just looking at each other, right? Because both teams, none of them had a win over a team with a above 500 record. Mm-hmm. And then when them two played, I think we were joking around saying, "Yo, we should bet the tie because like this would be the perfect game for it to be a tie." But again, man, like I think a lot of teams run into this issue where you kind of have to pay dudes because they give you a chance to make the playoffs and to compete and win your division, which is always like a team's main goal in order to get a chance to win the Super Bowl. But then I just feel like your ceiling is limited. But then again, like, what do you do, bro? Do you go and get Russell Wilsons of the world? And do you get Andy Daltons and then you're winning 3 games? Nah, you don't want that either. So you got to pay these dudes.
It's crazy.
Like Daniel Jones
is a 3-game quarterback. That's wild.
I mean, that's what he's been last, like, 2 years, you know. Now with Pittsburgh, it's gonna be interesting. I think you got to just wait and see, because
I don't think that was a good pickup for them either. I don't think mentally he's a football player. I think he's a husband.
Yeah. That's there's been some reports about that, and it kind of. Yeah. But look, they also got him for what, $4 million, $5 million.
Yeah, so it's not. The Broncos still owe him money, right?
Yeah, but that's not Pittsburgh's problem. Like,
no,
okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, if you get Russell Wilson on your team and it's for $4 million, I'd take him on the Giants for $4 million because it's not a big investment. Having Daniel Jones for 40, now you're like, oh.
He thinks Russell Wilson's a Hall of Famer, and I think he's very far off the mark.
Yeah, I said Russell Wilson's a Hall of Fame.
No, he's not.
You don't think so?
No, I think he's a good quarterback. I think that's where it ends, though. Hall of Famer, he had to do a lot more. He's given up already. He's just there.
I feel like if
he's an announcer in his mind already.
Yeah, I'll help your case real quick. He does a lot of that Walter Payton Man of the Year type award stuff, and he helps the community so they can give him a little sympathy vote to help pad your case.
Yeah, I think he's too politically correct, and he doesn't really speak how he feels. I think he's more of a beta male than he is anything else. I think he does.
A lot of his teammates have said that too.
I think he doesn't express himself in a way where it's actual realistic and it's reality. He's delusional mentally of how he's perceived and what reality actually is. And that's one thing I don't like, about him is that it's like he doesn't give you the real. You can sit here and talk to him and he'll be like, oh yeah, for sure. He gives you this politically correct answer, and it's like, bro, that's not what we want to hear.
Which is so wild that he was with Seattle because that whole team wasn't politically correct.
Well, he wasn't there at that time. You got to understand, he's the new guy now. So with Seattle, he was around the guys and he meshed well because he was young. He wanted to be accepted and taken in. But once you get paid, $200 and some odd $1 million, you're no longer you need to get votes.
Yeah,
you've made it. You got a wife and whatever it is going on at home. You want to be a husband. You want to be a role model because he's like, my kids are watching now.
Yeah,
and that's just what it is.
They're watching you play.
Yeah, they're watching
bad
now.
Football.
Right. So that's the example that he's setting. I think he's more so focused on how he's perceived long term versus, what the actual reality is short term. And that's where I have a problem with it at because it's not real.
I don't know, man. I think he's I think if you defined an era like the 2010s, he's a big part of it, bro.
For sure. But he's not Hall of Fame a part of it. 2010 was still Tom Brady's era.
Yeah, the 2010s was still his era, and Brady does have a win over him in the Super Bowl, but he went to 2 Super Bowls. He went to conference championship games. Mm-hmm. He kind of stopped a lot of people in the NFC from getting there too, like especially Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. Like them and the Seahawks. Packers and Seahawks had some fucking banger football games in the playoffs. The crazy comeback.
Crazy. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is more of a Hall of Famer, although
but Aaron Rodgers got, 4 MVPs?
Yeah, but Aaron Rodgers is a dog. It's I mean, when you talk about Hall of Famer, bro, I think there's so many more accolades and different fought wars, and Aaron Rodgers is one of those guys who is numbers. He has an identity of a dog. Mm-hmm. I don't really like, Russell Wilson. Not to say he doesn't deserve it, or if they give it to him, they give it to him. But man, I look at Hall of Famers, it's like, yo,
wow, you were extremely special.
Yes,
your career was never stale.
Yes,
the headlines never read Russell Wilson is literally fucking everything up.
Right, right. When you get Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, automatically the Jets are better.
Yeah,
there's just even their pick to win the what they're in the NFC.
AFC.
They picked to win the AFC like as one of the favorites to win just because he's there.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson goes to the Steelers. They're still not picked to win.
The odds went the same.
Yeah, the same. So it's like, I mean, that's how I view Hall of Famers is based on impact, and I don't think Russell Wilson has that impact anymore.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I mean, bro. Yeah,
stats,
look, you guys are bringing up good points, and this is a fun discussion to have, right? But his numbers: 43,000 passing yards, 334 touchdowns to 106 interceptions. Has one of the highest TD to interception rates in NFL history. He's done stuff on the ground too with the running, and like, look, man, never got an MVP vote. That was like the biggest. Like, how hasn't he gotten an MVP vote? I feel like every time he didn't get an MVP vote, that was the right call.
Yeah, he was first half of the season MVP.
Yeah.
He's got 12 of them.
Yeah.
He does. He's locked and loaded on those.
But, dude, 115 wins to 72 losses in his career, and it just consistent 11, 13, 12, 10, 10, 9, 10, 11, 12 wins. Look, the last 3 years have been rough. Like the last year in Seattle, he went 6-8, and then, the last 2 years in Denver. But I just think that the thing that's going to kill him is all these other quarterbacks go like into their 35, 36th year, and then, like years old, and they're still playing at a high level. Yeah. But this dude's 35, and it looks bad. He signs for $4 million with the Steelers.
He looks uninterested, and there's so much lack of emotion. He's so nonchalant. He doesn't care who, like, he just doesn't
that's
care.
the perfect word to describe him. Nonchalant.
Yeah, he's just like,
yeah.
Like, bro, you just blew it. What the fuck?
He's playing a character in a movie. Like everything is just like he's an actor.
He has this perception that he wants to sell people, and that's what he's on. He's on this,
Good, clean cut, by the book.
Guy, by the book, wife, kids.
Yeah.
You know, I have my family. The only thing that matters, I don't care if my teammates love me. It's about as long as my kids love me and know that I love them kind of mentality. You can't win with that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Not to say call him a bad person, and that's the wrong way of thinking. But when you leave home and you come to our team, we need that same love from home transferred over here. If you only care if they love you, then I think you need to stay home.
Yeah,
it's true.
Like, it's even when you're doing business, coming, you know, on pods, you got to come here ready to perform, and like you do everywhere else. So it's like, why, you know, it has to be across the board. Look at Kobe.
Yeah. So yeah, let me ask you this
Kobe
question.
was never home,
because this was another
never home. He loved what he did,
Yeah.
until he wasn't here anymore, bro. Even
Right.
when he retired, he was at the games, courtside.
Yeah.
Coaching his
a lot of WNBA games too with his daughter.
Right.
Yeah,
bro.
like he was involved with
you
it.
gotta love the game. It's what provides you a lifestyle.
So let me ask you this, because you said something about family and performance on the field. It kind of ties into another question that we got. Rudy Gobert missed game 2 because he was expecting the birth of his kid. Cameron and Mace were talking about it on their show. Cam has said many times how, like, yo, I was shooting Paid in Full. Cam was shooting Paid in Full. It's like a classic, like, cultural movie, like, of all time. And he's like, yo, I wasn't there when my kid was born. And he's like, he don't care about that now. Like, at the time when it happened, like, he's not gonna remember it. But he was saying how, like, the baby mama would, like, hold it over him, right? My dad wasn't there when I was born. He was working. Don't hate him for it. He's probably my favorite person on the planet. You know what I mean? So, like, how do you guys feel about players missing games? And let's go a step further. If you miss Tuesday against Washington, bro, Wayne, I'm not gonna be
I
like,
was gonna say that. It depends on the game.
Yeah, but bro, listen, if we're in the Super Bowl or we're in the playoffs, I might be like, yo, Wayne,
you gotta just send me a
come
picture
on,
of
fam.
Look, y'all, I'm going to the hospital after this.
Yeah, like go.
I got to get the job done, and then I'll see you once, you know, I'm there. But again, you know, I disagree with that decision because I feel like you have a job to do, and hopefully the woman understands. If not, then that's not your problem. I mean, granted, she's gonna hold it all over your head, but look at how we living. Like, I can easily, you know, because honestly, although it's not being discussed, but it's definitely being frowned upon right now. If it's being brought up, it's being frowned upon because you could have missed that. I feel like that not to say that one is less or more equally important, but I mean, bro, it's a playoff game. Y'all got to win this. Y'all playing against the Denver Nuggets. You got to be there for your team. I don't know how this is going to make him look moving forward, but it's a discussion that's being had. Yeah. And I think it's frowned upon more so than anything because even the NBA is probably looking at that shit like, really?
I do think that it helps him in this particular case that they ended up winning anyway.
Yeah.
Because then, like, if they would have lost, I think you would it would lead a lot of talk shows. It'd be like
100%.
How do you
still
not
leading?
It's still leading, yeah. Because I think it's an interesting conversation, man. Look, I'm a single guy with no kids, so I don't know. I've always said, and it's going to tie into another question that we have, where I like learning on my own experiences. So, you ever have people be like, "Man, I would have done this." Right? You get that
every time. They
right?
would have done it.
Bro, you don't know what you're going to do until you're in that situation.
Yeah, but he's an employee at the end of the day.
Right.
He's an employee and he has a job to do. But
I'm saying in general though, like, you might tell me some shit that happened to you, right? And I might say, Wayne, I would have done it this way. You're gonna be like, oh, bro, you wasn't in that position. Heat of the moment, fucking 5 seconds left on the clock, whatever it might be, whether it's life, whether it's a game. You don't know how you're gonna react to that. Everybody reacts different. Some people fold under any kind of pressure. Other people
let me ask you this. What would be the difference in him actually seeing it come out of and then him showing up when she's holding it or going to see it, and then now he has to leave home. He's not going to be home for weeks right now, so he's not going to be there anyway. There's no either way. There's going to be a problem because because
you're going to leave at some point.
You're going to leave,
right.
And he's going to be gone for a long. This is the hardest part of the season, so he has to understand that if he missed the birth, right, and he goes back to playing, it's going to be, I'm doing this by myself.
True.
So I might as well just have the full argument. I'm just not going to, I'm going to miss it all. I'm going to get this.
Have the argument
money.
one time?
Yes, and just
on.
get it handled and hopefully bring home the ring. You know what I'm saying? But that's me thinking like, okay, I got to be there for my team.
For sure. You got to really analyze how much do you love her and how much do you love the job?
Do you feel like it's a love plays a factor in that, or is it just you have you're an employee?
Yeah, if you were in love with her, like you'd probably feel like a piece of shit for missing that. You know, like if you did not love her, you'd be like,
yeah, but if you're not in the league anymore, she's not gonna love you.
That's probably true. I mean, Rudy Gobert started COVID and he's here now. So
on my birthday too.
That's
crazy.
Right. All the signs.
Understanding that you kind of not damned if you do, but damned if you don't. But yo, we're trying to get somewhere, and I understand that this is what it is. But I've been making sacrifices my whole life, and this is just one of them. Yes, I'm going to miss a couple days or a couple weeks of his life, but he'll never know that unless you bring it up in an argument that we're having. But either way, I'm still trying to get somewhere.
Yeah,
and we're trying to win this, so I gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, just send me some pictures. I'll be home. I'm sure I'm going to see my son or my daughter when I get home. But I don't think love or anything of that plays a factor. I just think it's all about what do you want more.
Maybe it was load management, possibly.
Now
this is a way to hide load management. Can you imagine?
That's
owners,
very well
listen
possible.
Up. You start telling your players, just knock up your wife, or you can do a fake pregnancy. My wife's in the hospital. I got to sit out.
That's very well possible. And
NBA
I like that idea more than anything else. If that's the idea that they went with, I fuck with that. But to miss your game,
I don't know for a playoff game if they're doing that. That's why, again, I feel like for me, if I'm a teammate or if I'm the player, if it's Washington on a Tuesday or Atlanta on a Thursday, I'd be like, yo, bro, go with your family. It's cool.
It's cool.
But when it's the
Denver Nuggets
the
in the
semis in the NBA playoffs, and like we just swept the Suns and we got a legit chance to
sweep this team too.
To sweep this team and to advance, and our odds went from 40-1 to win the West to now we're the favorite. I might have that conversation with you if I'm a leader on the team and be like, yo, bro, this is just as important.
This is just as important.
And you'll be fine. Nick's dad wasn't there when he was born either. And
right.
Yeah. George, I think I turned out all right.
Yeah, I think you're fine.
Yeah, I know you're not like, man, you wasn't there when I was born for a couple minutes. Like, I think he should have played yesterday. But again, back to your point, I think it makes, if what you said makes clear sense to me, I would take that. If that's an excuse, I would take that excuse. But I'm not going with my son was born. Like, bro, I got asthma.
There's nothing.
You're not sick.
You're not pulling the baby out.
Yeah, like a lot of people on that team is going through stuff. Parents got cancer, grandmother died, uncle, auntie. You know, they're not seeing their kids. Everybody's going through something on that team, including the coach. So, what makes you exempt?
The coach fucking blew out his leg. We got ran into in the last series.
Right. So
towards patella, bro. That's like the worst thing you could do.
Exactly. So understanding that everyone on this team is going through something, you got to be here. Anthony Edwards had a kid born too. Like, and they need him, and he's there. I don't think there's any excuse. But if load management is what they're gonna go with, then all right, bet.
Yeah. No, that's a completely made-up thing. Maybe, Nick, you should tweet that since your Twitter's got some traction. Rumors have it Rudy Gobert was actually just
a load management case,
doing a load management.
And his girl ended up having a baby.
He's blaming the pregnancy.
And this is not his first child.
How dare he?
In France, he also knocked up another chick. This is baby number 4.
Before we move on, let's do a little bit of a shout out and an ad break for Rebet. And George, what we're going to do, I was trying to think of what we're going to do for May Patreon. And the conclusion I came to is let's give away some money.
Whoa,
let's give away some money for Patreon members.
What a generous guy.
So we're going to do 2 things, right? So we're going to give away over the next 3 weeks, $100 a week to a member of the Patreon. If you're in the $20 or $40 tier. And I kept this from you, but Christopher Velasquez won today. Going to get $100 to play on the Rebet app.
Shouts out to Christopher.
So what's going to happen? What's going to happen to Christopher and what's going to happen to everybody is you're going to download the Rebet app. We're going to send you $100 American dollars, and you're going to deposit it on the app, and Rebet is going to give you $100 American dollars to play.
That's
so
great.
Now, George, you have $200 American dollars to play. That's free because the 100 was given to you.
Match deposit.
And it's matched by Rebet. Download the app, Rebet app. Use promo code VM. Chris, win some money. Shout us out. Shout out to you. Thank you for the support on the Patreon. Next week, we're going to give out another 100. The week after, we're going to give out another 100.
Yeah.
And then I think the week after is June. We ain't going to give out no more money, Wayne. Because
next week after that, we're giving away $10,000.
One day we'll be giving out money like that. But for everybody else, what we'll do for the month of May is this is going to be open to everybody. We're going to give away $100 to the best comment, rating, review on Apple. Go to Apple. Link is in the bio. Go and leave a comment, a rating, a review. We're going to read them. We'll dedicate an episode. We'll read all of them.
Nice.
And then I'll let George decide who's going to win it. And Wayne, maybe you could even decide if you're on that podcast to get you back on there.
Right.
And maybe you guys could throw Wayne and George some money to then we rig the system. A little Patrick Ewing frozen envelope.
I'll send y'all my Venmo.
Lie, cheat, and steal, baby. We got to do what we got to do.
What's that called?
Bribe.
Bribes. I'm taking $1,000 bribe.
You got to give him $1,000 to get $100 in the shout out. That's how it works. You'll be operating in the red.
Yeah, that's worth it, right?
That's like betting like $100,000 on a 1 seed to beat a 16. You know what I mean? It's like it's not much.
Yeah,
but
you want to win, right?
You want to win.
Green is green.
Green is
you
green.
See a profit, you're chilling. Right. And for those that don't know, Rebet is a free-to-play social sports book. Users can gain in-app status based on the number of coins that they have. Users can post their bets to their feed where followers can like, comment, or rebet their bet. Users can bet directly against their friends with our peer-to-peer betting. One of the reasons why I like Rebet a lot is because I always felt like the future of sports betting was going to be peer-to-peer. Us three, let's bet. We have an app. We have their odds. We have real odds. And we could go from there. That's why I really like Rebet. It's also very easy for beginners. My mom was on the app. She's like, oh, it's so much easier to see win by more than 3 as opposed to -3. She's like, what is -3? I'm like, Ma, it's not negative. Ma, don't sound like an asshole. Shouts to Mom. You got to read it the right way, right? It's -3. So they, for example, spreads -3 are shown as win by more than 3. It's easy to navigate. It's easy to read. Money line is known and shown as game winner as opposed to money line. So Rebet app, download it. It's available in a shitload of states, except for Idaho, because you guys know how we feel about Idaho. There ain't nothing cool in Idaho.
Until we go and do a rodeo, dude.
Yeah, we got to go do a cowboy.
Colton keeps messaging us.
What are those things? The spurs. We got to wear boots with spurs. Go ride some horses.
I said,
I honestly never even been to Idaho.
Bro, why would you?
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks cool.
I've been.
You look cool, man. You just trying to kiss up to Idaho. Shouts to Idaho, though, man. Who knows? Maybe we'll be out there. But Rebet app is available in 47 of the 50 states. And like we said, not Idaho, but everywhere else. Use the promo code VM, and they will match up to $100 of your deposit. Okay, fellas, back to the show. Question: who's the most overrated athlete right now in sports?
But that's playing?
Yeah, it doesn't need to be like playing right now like an NBA player, but is active in the league. So he could be a football player. He could be whoever you think right now that's playing.
I mean, in the NFL, I feel like it's Brock Purdy.
That's a good answer.
That's a nice.
I feel like it's Brock Purdy, NFL. If I go NBA, I would go. You said overhyped?
Yeah, overrated.
Overrated.
My answer is gonna piss off a lot of people.
Overrated. I'm gonna go with Ooh, I'm gonna go with Anthony Davis.
Whoa, okay. Also the highest paid too in the league.
I'm gonna go with Anthony Davis. Is overrated right now. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Anthony Davis. NFL, in the NFL getting drafted, because you know who I'm gonna say if you're talking about draft picks. But
Oh yeah,
Caleb
Williams.
I'm gonna go
is-
Caleb
yeah,
Williams.
That's
Is
yeah.
overhyped. And WNBA, I'm gonna go with I like her. Don't get it twisted, but I'm gonna go with Miss Clark.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
well,
you think
there's
so?
I'm gonna go with Miss Clark.
Bro, she's we throw the word generational a lot. Like
like
there needs
her.
to be a different word for her.
I
bro.
like her. But I think they are putting too much pressure on her.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to make the games that she play harder, because she's going to play more games in there. And she's playing against grown-ass women who have high IQs, who are coming for her every single game.
Yeah.
She's going to be more prone to injury. And I think they put a lot of pressure on her to be this face of the NBA, and she's a WNBA, and she's done so much for women's basketball. And I think it's polar opposite. I think she's opened up. I think she's made women's basketball cool, just like Angela Reese has. Skylar Diggins and Maya Moore and everyone else that, has made it cool for women to play. But as far as her actually doing, she's done a lot for women's basketball. I'm going to have to say how. When we can name a list of women that came before her that's done a lot for women's basketball.
Yeah.
Including a coach from South Carolina, Don
Staley,
Stanley.
yeah.
And you got Kelsey, you got the whole Las Vegas girls, the whole women's team out here.
Yeah,
the
back-to-back.
Back-to-backs. They've done a lot for women's basketball. I mean, you got so many different variables and indicators of, who's done what. And granted, it's all subjective, but I'm just kind of trying to figure out, what position in her that they see that she's changed. When you say changed it, like, how?
Well, I think
shooting
if you,
further away.
yeah, well,
It hasn't changed it yet.
I think though the attention
they've already been doing that.
The attention, like the women's March Madness was getting like Monday Night Football numbers, ratings wise.
Yeah.
It was leading sports talk. It was becoming a thing, and a lot of it was spearheaded by her, right?
It started with Angela Reese and them, though.
Right, but also because they beat her last year.
Right, but then it's the trickle down of it's okay. So we can bring up Angela Reese, but then you also got to go to South Carolina and what they've done the past 4 years. They're actually, the coach Don Stanley is the reason why the light is being shined, because she's brought this culture to South Carolina when it comes to women's basketball. Mm-hmm. And now we're actually watching them destroy these chicks, and then you got the up and comings, and then you have Caitlin Clark shining in and doing her thing. But we have to highlight what's actually real. And I feel like South Carolina women, shouts out to them, has actually done a lot more for women's basketball than single-handedly Caitlin Clark has her whole career. I feel like South Carolina is the reason why women's basketball in college is actually lit again.
I'll say that the same reason why you say that Caitlin Clark's overrated, the fact that the WNBA and all of women's sports doesn't highlight more stuff like that, is why women's sports is overrated when it comes to, at least like this past year, where it's like, I mean, I think it's a mix between sports betting too, because now that a lot of people sports bet, it doesn't take you too long to notice that Caitlin Clark is going to drop 30 on all these small girls every single night.
Right.
And you can make some money doing it. And so I think there was like also that effect. But yeah,
but I want to.
She's nice though. Don't get too
but I want to I want you to elaborate more, because I feel like what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that the way they've covered women's sports, that's the issue, because there have been girls, like you said, Maya Moore, Skylar Diggins,
yeah.
Della Donna, that been doing some dope shit. And that was what Asia Wilson. That's why everyone was like, hey, how come she didn't get no sneaker deal when she's been league MVP and has won championships? And to your point where you were saying, because I didn't want it to get misinterpreted, I agree with you. It's like they haven't done a good job marketing these girls in the past to then say like, yo, this has been going on.
Right.
And I think also too, bro, you got, I mean, I think it's more than just her. I think you have I don't know her name, but the Samoan chick from Utah, the chick from Iowa State, Steph Curry's god sister from Stanford. You got what's her name from USC?
Watkins.
Yeah.
Juju.
Juju. They're all impactful players making an impact on They all should be highlighted.
Yeah.
Every single one of them, because, and going back to what you guys said, they're covering women's basketball different. And the reason why, and they were missing one concept. One, they had to create villains. So now once you created this villain and superhero model, now we're tuning in because nothing's more exciting.
We love
than
rivalries.
watching this dethrone or defeat this episode. It's what they've done. And now they've created this full-on like storyline around it. And that's all we needed in general, was to get these girls to go against each other in a way that's similar to what the NBA is. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they were missing, is the marketing. Now they're getting into it now, and they're pushing her to the forefront. I don't think it's fair to all the other girls that I just named. I just don't. Now, granted, yeah, she's a baller, but to me, they're all ballers. You watch these games, bro, they all doing her thing. Yeah, some teams are better than others, but bro, I can't say, oh, she's done this much for women's basketball. I'm just not going to give her that. It's not fair.
Facts.
It's just not fair, because you got so many people that came before her. And shouts out to Candace Parker for becoming the president of the women's
Adidas, right?
Adidas.
Yeah,
that's big right there.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like there's a lot more women in place that should be mentioned, that came before her and that came with her, that has done a lot for basketball. And I can name the chicks that I named on all those teams are actually the reason why women's basketball is making this huge transition and getting the marketing dollars and getting their games more televised, because they all are hoopers, certified.
Yeah.
So that's my stance on it. I just don't think you can just pinpoint one. I think it should be like 10 of them that should be the face of the WNBA.
Yeah. I mean, bro, you made a compelling case, man. You kind of swung me, because in the beginning I was like, I don't know, it sounds crazy, but that's why it's dope to allow people to speak.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Because you give someone a couple minutes to explain themselves, like that clickbait shit, or you get someone that, get that 5 seconds, and you're like, well, you just missed out.
And there's no shade to Caitlin Clark. I like her as a player. Again, I think she's an amazing guard, but I also think that there's other amazing guards.
You just want them to pay homage to who came before.
Bro,
before.
I want.
Yeah.
If you have so
bro.
just for example, with Wu-Tang, with Dipset, you pay homage to every single one of them.
Yeah.
You pay homage to every single one of those guys. It can be like that in sports too.
Yeah.
You pay homage to everybody who's leading, especially this WNBA wave. It's the new wave. So I think they all should be a lineup of women. I think it should be a full-on just lineup of all you guys help change this shit.
Yeah.
If you pinpoint Caitlin Clark, bro, that is fucked up.
Yeah. And you're right though about the pressure that they've put on her too.
It's too much.
It's a lot. Yeah.
It's too much, bro. It's way too much. She's not a big, bro. They're gonna be on her every game. You got to play high level.
It's different.
She got to carry that Indiana team. They're not like a championship team.
I think that might be the biggest jump from college to professional sports that there is next to the NFL. Going from women's D1 college basketball to the WNBA.
It's hard transition.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're actually going to get some girls with size.
Playing games daily.
Did you Did you give it overrated?
No, I was going to say Giannis.
Wow.
I think
you think Giannis is overrated?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Why?
Yes. I think he has yet to develop the one facet of his game that would make him a forever superstar.
Mm-hmm. And what is that?
And that is the shooting. I think he has this just huge hole in his game. And no matter how many...
Shooting from where, though?
I mean, shooting from anywhere past 15 feet.
What's his percentage? Can we look his numbers up?
We'll look his numbers up.
I don't feel like he's underrated.
I
don't feel like he's overrated.
I feel like he's overrated in the sense of him being able to lead a team solo, like a lot of people think and want him to. They had to go out and get Dame, and now they, didn't get to even fully experience it. So we'll see next year.
And even when they won the ring, they had Drew. Like people just throw Drew Holiday like he's like an eighth man of like, bro, this dude is a legit guard.
Yeah,
both sides of the ball,
or something, bro. Like Drew. He's both sides of the ball type guy.
I think he's the third best foreigner in the league. And there was like a small window where he was the man, but like the Celtics figured him out in about a year, and so did a lot of teams.
Well, they're going to
build a wall around the paint, and I think for what people have talked him up to be, I think he's an overrated type player, and as time passes, we'll start to see it more.
Well, he's aging. One, you're getting miles on him because he has to score 40 points a game. I think Dame was a good addition to that team. They just have to figure out who's the point guard because Giannis isn't the point guard. So once Giannis says, hey, you be point guard, I think they'll be better off. I do think they need a couple more players, but the one thing about Milwaukee, what they showed us in this playoff run that they had was that they are a good team. They have two teams on that team.
Yeah.
They have two teams.
They're deep.
They have two teams. They actually beat the Pacers one of those games
without Dame and Giannis.
Or Giannis. They have two teams, bro. And once Doc figures that out, he has to figure out how to make these teams mesh because that's what I think the problem is. He has two teams in one. And that can be a problem because you need role players.
And also to that point, because I bet Milwaukee they were getting 10.5 points in that game.
I took them too, dude.
And it ties into public perception. Oh, no Dame, no Giannis, it's a wrap. They're not winning. 92% of the bets were coming in on the Pacers. And I'm pretty sure that game was on the road.
It was.
Right?
Yeah.
So like everybody was hammering the Pacers. And look, I did the same thing with in game 2 with the Heat. I took the Heat plus 15. And it was, they lose game 1 and then game 2, what's going to happen? And then Spoelstra was like 10-3 in game 2s all time when he loses game 1. But then again, it's public perception, man. It's like, this guy's not playing. It's a wrap. No Jimmy Butler coming back. Because I think that's when they confirmed for game 2 that he's definitely not coming back for that series at least. And again, those are spots where you tell me 92%, everybody's betting this, and it's an obvious take like, oh, no Dame, no Giannis. Probably going to go the other way, man, especially if I'm catching double digits. And so I'm glad that you brought that up because it just sparked something in my mind.
Kirk Cousins.
That's a good one.
Cousins,
I just wanted to add the because you had me pull up the stats.
Yeah,
he shoots 27%
from the 15
from 24 feet in pass.
Okay, and then under the board. Well, where does it matter? I'm gonna ask you that. Where does
that's the stat where if he was a 40% 3-point shooter, my statement is null and void.
Yeah, but why does he need to be a 40% 3-point shooter and being 7-9?
Because the NBA has game planned to leave you open for the past 3 years, and you've yet to address it, and they're going to continue to leave you open.
How many 3-point shots does he need to make per game?
I mean,
as a big, one or
if
two,
you're
right?
being left open,
one or two, right?
Yeah,
because most of his points are coming from inside the paint.
But he would, if he's shooting 27%, that would mean he needs to shoot 10 threes, and would be okay with him missing 8.
I would be okay with that. Well, yeah, I would.
That's why I'm saying he's overrated. I look at great basketball players every single day now that the NBA playoffs are going, and they're actually trying. It's amazing to watch, but like, I know that a really well-rounded player, Karl Anthony Towns, has a way better 3-point percentage than Giannis.
Right, but
and he probably has the same stats on the interior.
Karl Anthony Towns was probably short at one point in his life.
possibly.
Yeah, see? It's a big difference. Giannis probably been playing big since he's been little.
Giannis came out the womb
right,
35 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he was
that
already
makes a
like
difference,
3'5" when he came out the womb.
Understanding that sometimes they sprout at different ages. So Giannis probably been big his whole life, and the 3-point shot came after he was already big. Anthony Carl Towns, whatever. Cat was probably shorter, so he was shooting from the 3-point as a kid. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I'm gonna just say most overrated player right now, I think, is Ezekiel Elliott. People still think he's good.
For real? I don't even hear his name mentioned.
I mean, bro, he just signed again with the Cowboys, and people were like, "Oh,
he
shit,
went back to the Cowboys,
bringing it back." Yeah, you want 2.6 yards per carry? Congratulations, bro. He hasn't been good in like 5 years.
It's the vibe. It's the vibes.
He's running back age, and he's weed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, I don't know. He's a better backup than he is the lead guy,
dude. In like 20,
and it's weed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He has that famous video of him on his Twitch stream.
Bro, he looks like he smokes weed all day.
Yeah.
Bro, it's weed.
He just hasn't been good in a very long time, and I think it's because he's a Cowboy. He came in hot, right? Like he came in and was like, "Holy shit, this is the next like generational running back," and the offensive line was dope, and it's America's team, so they're being highlighted. But like, dude hasn't been good in a very long time.
Agreed.
And for it to be leading headlines that he's back in Dallas, like, bro, so this is it don't matter.
Well, Dallas has been looking for Emmitt Smith for a long time, and other people, and he's probably.
And that's the thing. Like they thought that this guy was that, and I just think he's honestly, I feel like he's always been kind of limited. It's just that offensive line was so amazing.
Yeah,
he was different when he first got.
Bro, that offensive line was nuts when those first 3-4 years in the league.
Yeah. Just as much as we say, like, a quarterback is made by his offensive line, a running back for sure is made by his offensive line. Like,
sure.
Well, we got to wrap because at the time that you guys are listening to this, we got to record the episode that went out earlier in the week. Mm-hmm. So we got to wrap this one up. Thank you guys for sending in the questions. We actually have a lot more questions that we didn't address, but because, Russell Wilson being a Hall of Famer, and then the Caitlin Clark conversation was dope because that spiraled into something else. But that's all the time that we have for today. At Nick Day is Tenners. You can find me all things Veterans Minimum, or at Veterans Minimum. George, where can they find you?
At Mr. George Carmona. And for the bribes that were talked about earlier, if you go on my Instagram, you'll click on that link. You scroll down to the bottom, and it's got my Venmo, Cash App. I'll add Zelle for you Zellers out there. But yeah, that's that. Now accepting bribes.
Let's go. Wayne, where can they find you?
You guys can follow me on Instagram at The Creator, spelled THECR38TOR. And thank you guys for listening.
We'll catch you guys next time.
Peace.
In his element, I'm a gold medalist, bronze like your medal is. So many deer in headlights, but it's bedtime. Hear that supper bell, main course be the venison.
Dab. Most dangerous game. Either kill or be killed.